guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today I have for you a super duper long October TBR. So sit back, relax, grab you some coffee or tea and enjoy the video. These are going to be in no way, shape, or form in any type of order because I was out of my memory trying to remember some of the books that I had on my TBR so that I wouldn't have to walk all the way across the room and look at my journal and such, and then come back, pick more off the shelf, and go at it. But I have 35 books on my TBR for this month. I'm doing a challenge with myself to read as many physical books that I own that are unread on my shelf until the very end of the year, like the very last day, to try and get to like maybe 20 unread physical books on my shelf, and those would be like new releases or my book of the month that I haven't got to yet. So with that being said, it is the 7th of the month and I have only completed 3 books off of this TBR, but I am in the middle of quite a few, which you will see in just a little bit. But I figured that I would go ahead and show you guys first the 3 books that I've already completed. And one of the first books is Like a Love Story, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the author's name because I just don't want to mispronounce it. But this book was super cute, y'all. I loved it. At first I was a little sketchy because of the whole AIDS, HIV topic, and it being historical fiction, but I really actually enjoyed it in the end and kind of sort of almost made me cry. And then the next book that I've already finished is How Not to Ask a Boy to Prom by Sj Asli. This one was super cute as well. Also, like, trigger warnings for bullying and hazing if you're going to read this book. But I still enjoyed it a whole lot. I think I rated Like a Love Story 5 stars. I know I rated this one 5 stars. And the next book that I also read, I rated 5 stars so far. And that is Ignite Me by Tara Moffey, guys. I have finished the first 3 books in the series, and I'm probably going to read Restore Me at some point this month. But we'll see about that because your girl has tons of other books to read. But the first book that I'm pulling off of my TBR pile, like I said, these are in no particular order, is Heidi. This is a classic book, children's classic book, and I ordered this off of Book Outlet a long time ago whenever they had it on sale with the Anne of Green Gables edition. I wanted to collect all of these, or not Anne of Green Gables edition, but the Little Women edition. I read Little Women in this edition, so I wanted this one. And yeah, it has illustrations and stuff in it. So I'm going to be probably listening to this at some point, even though the writing is fairly large and the book is short, like height-wise. The next one that I'm picked off of my TBR pile is also a classic, and I know for a fact I'm going to be listening to this book because it's just been sitting on my shelf for literal years, y'all, and I have not picked it up yet. And that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and I might listen to this on the plane on the way to Rome. Might not. I really want to finish all of these books before I go to Rome, but I mean, if I listen to like a few hours of the audiobook a day, I can probably finish it. And then the next book that I'm pulling off the pile is The Probability of Miracles by Wendy Wonder. And I've never heard of this author before, but it says that she's the author of The Museum of Intangible Things. And basically it's about a 17-year-old who's been in and out of hospitals, like basically battling her body. And with me having a disability, I don't tend to go to the hospital a mighty lot, but if need be, it's there, and sometimes we do have to do like 4-day stays. So I figured, oh, and I also bought this book at Dollar Tree for $1. So I was like, you know what, yeah, let me get it. The next book that I still have to read an entire year later, because I bought this book specifically for Y'all Fest last year, and still have not read it yet, signed and personalized to me, and that is Tiny Pretty Things by Danielle Clayton, and I don't know how to pronounce the other author's last name, but I met Danielle last year at Y'all Fest, and she was a super fun author to meet. But I've been meaning to get around to this book for a super long time and just haven't yet, because it is pretty thick and it's about dancers, and the last book that I read that was about dancers didn't turn out as well as I would have liked it to, so it kind of put me off for a little bit, but I'm definitely going to end up reading that soon too. This next book is a short story collection, and I've read some of these, but I forgot where I was because I took out my bookmark, and my sticky notes are like way at the front. Never mind, I know exactly where I was now that I'm flipping through it. I made it to page 39, and No One Belongs Here More Than You by Miranda July. Super short. I can read like a story or two a day, and I can be finished with this in no time. Then I picked another book that I've owned for ages and ages and ages, and I actually just found a bookmark inside of it that I've been looking for forever. It's that one that I colored. Sorry guys, my phone ran out of storage, so here is the second clip of the video. But I found this bookmark that was inside of this book I've been looking for forever, and that is Am I Normal Yet by Bourne. I just, for some reason, cannot get into this book, and I really want to. I am 3 chapters in, and I've been trying to read it for like 2 years, so it's probably going to be, like I said earlier, another audiobook, or maybe if somebody will buddy read it at some point in time, I'll get through it. The next 2 books that I have are by the same author. They're both by Christina June. The first one being Everywhere You Want to Be, and the second one being It Started With Goodbye. I read her book earlier in the year, No Place Like Here, I believe it is. It's the purple cover one, and I just don't own it yet. But I got an arc of that through NetGalley and really enjoyed it, so I wanted to read the rest of her books. They were super cheap, and I just happened to pull them out of my TBR jar for this month. And they're both really short, and they're contemporary, so of course I'm going to fly through them once I can get into it. The next 2 books are a duology, in that I'm not sure of the exact name of the duology. If it's even a duology, it could be a series, but that is The Archived and The Unbound by V.E. or Victoria Schwab. Like I'm saying with everything, basically all I've been doing lately is listening to audiobooks and physically reading one at the same time. So if I'm listening to another audiobook, I'm probably going to pick this up, try to read as much as possible of it, and then go with the flow. But I'm definitely going to finish both of those books this month. Like, probably going to start them within the next couple days. Next I have The Sword of Summer, Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, Book 1. I finished The Blood of Olympus, so that I finished Percy Jackson now. I finished the Heroes of Olympus series. This just happened to be the next one that I owned. I know it's not really the next one in order of what he's published, but it's the next one that I own, so I'm gonna read it. I also bought this book for like $3.99 at Ollie's. and I have the audiobook currently out from my library. So these typically are easy listens. Maybe while I'm packing to get ready for vacation, I can get a good chunk of this done and then finish it. Because y'all, I'm leaving in like 12 days. But the next book I have on the list, it's a finished copy, and I got it as a free copy last year at Y'all Fest while my mom was waiting in line for me to see Melissa Albert. She walked over because she was the only one in line, y'all. I sent her over and she was the first person in line, so she had forever to wait. And she picked me up some free copies of books, and this one is Potion Masters Book 1, The Eternity Elixir. This is a middle grade by Frank L. Cole, and I've had it for a year. Just been sitting on my shelf, and I decided that with me having some of the other ones on NetGalley right now, I think it's like the next one that's publishing, maybe one before that. I have it on NetGalley, and I need to get to it, so I need to read the first book, the second book, and the third book, I think. But I'm not going to get to all of them this month, so I'm probably just going to get to this one. The next book is another book that my mom picked up while she was in that same line. It is super freaking short, y'all. And I don't even know what it's about. Not gonna lie. She picked this up while I was meeting Stephanie Garber. This book is 163 pages, so if I really sat down, I could read it in like an hour and a half. And that is Never That Far by Carol Lynch Williams. Basically, it's about a girl after her grandpa dies, and then like she finds some things out about it, and she's trying to heal from the grief of losing her grandpa. The next book a lot of y'all have seen around BookTube lately, the last couple years, and that is Little Monsters by Kara Thomas. I honestly got in like a super reading mood this morning, and shout out to my girls on Twitter because y'all told me to go to Pinterest and look for writing prompts, and I picked out a thriller. So once I get the ball rolling on that, I may do some writing vlogs here and there. But that got me in the mood for thrillers. This was actually the first book that I picked out of my TBR jar for the month, and it's short. I have the audiobook from the library. You know me, y'all. I'm off work tomorrow, and thrillers are my kind of thing to just listen to all the way through. I'm super excited about that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. This one, the next one, probably gonna read while y'all get to wait for this video to upload, and that is Persepolis, the graphic novel. I picked this up free at 2nd and Charles, and at my local book, like the location. This book is 400, well that said 400, but now this says, yeah, 463 pages, but it's nothing because it's a graphic novel. And pretty sure that's a 4. No, y'all, I can't see. I need glasses bad. This says 153. So I can read this while I'm waiting for the vlog, or not the vlog, the TBR to upload. And that'll be one less book that I have to worry about later. The next book I bought because of a recommendation. I believe Katie from Kit Kats Can Read recommended me this book because it has to deal with like social anxiety, and with the recent relationship that I got out of, it was like just basically mental health kind of deal. And that is Paper Girl by Cindy R. Wilson. I read the first chapter of this book the other day, just kind of messing around trying to figure out exactly what book I wanted to read next, and it was pretty interesting. The chapters are pretty short. I just wasn't ready to commit to a hard-hit contemporary like this yet, and then I got busy with work. but it's a chance that I'm going to pick this up this week, just because it's a contemporary, chapters are short, easy to fly through. The next book, I don't know about y'all, because this is the first book I ever bought by this author. Still haven't read it yet. Really tempted. I was really tempted to like not even read it at all. But that is Slammed by Colleen Hoover. If I'm going to get through this book, it's going to have to be an audiobook. I already know it from the start. I don't know what it is about her books, but they put me in like a big depression. But I picked it out of my TBR jar. It's been on my shelf forever. I'm trying to get my physical TBR down to like 20 books, like I said earlier. And it's just going to have to go with the flow and get it done. Even though I'm probably not going to enjoy it as much as I hope, but maybe I'll be surprised. The next two books are Nicholas Sparks books. They are actually, like, I have these two and one more that I have not read yet. But on my shelf, like, and I collect his books, in case y'all didn't know. I know, like, he's not the greatest author in the world. But the first one is 3 Weeks with My Brother. And this one is actually written with his brother, Micah. This is some of his earlier works. And then the second Nicholas Sparks book that I have read the first one too, I do believe. Okay, y'all, so this is like the third time my phone has cut off on me because I just don't have enough storage on it. So I'm going to hurry up and fly through the rest of these books so that I don't keep y'all here for 45 minutes. But I read the first book to this duology companion, or whatever it is, and that is At First Sight by Nicholas Sparks. The next book I have was an ARC that I received at YALLFest as well, and I actually started this book on the way home from YALLFest, and I did not get to finish it, and I just put it down and never have picked it back up, but I'm kind of in the mood to pick it back up, and that is Tell Me Everything by Sarah Eney. This is an ARC copy of it, but it released in February and I still haven't read it yet. The next book I currently have, or can grab the audiobook from my library, or I can read it on Scrib right now, and that is Zeros by Scott Westerfeld. I'm actually currently reading Imposters by him, and that is a buddy read with Drew, and I'm really enjoying it. And the sequel to this one is also out, but I don't own it yet. Then I have Four Dead Queens that I still need to get to. This is the Owl Crate edition. Your girl can't stand deckled edges, but of course it has them. And I started to listen to the audiobook of this earlier and just kind of get me into the world and then see where it goes from there. But I decided against it and decided to pick up another book. The next book I have is Our Dark Duet by Victoria Schwab. I read this Savage song last month or the month before, rated it 5 stars, as always with most of her books, with the exception of one. The next two books are also part of a series duology, and that is The Star Touch Queen and Crown of Wishes. I got this book signed at YALLFest last year, whenever I went, and whenever the author, I actually sent my copy of the book with some of my friends to get it signed because I was elsewhere in another line, and then this was like right before I was going home, and they accidentally personalized this one to me that I didn't even have this one at all, and it was another girl's book. They accidentally personalized it to me, so I got a free book. So I'm hoping that I'm going to like The Star Touch Queen so that I can read that one and actually enjoy it, since I have to keep it. The next book is, I think, the last book that I'm actually not currently reading or listening to, and that is Words on Bathroom Walls by Julia Walton. I was supposed to buddy read this with Sydney a long time ago. We had planned on reading this together, and we still haven't yet. But this book is 300 pages long, or less than 300 pages long. And her dad actually picked this book out for her. We wanted to buddy read it together, so I picked it up, and I have it tabbed out for 100 pages a day. Still, who knows when I'll get to it. I may bring it with me to Rome if I don't get to it before then, but it's gonna happen. So now we get into the books that I am currently either listening to or currently physically reading that are on my TBR. The first book being Empire of Storms by Sj Asli, and I am currently on chapter 4, so I'm like 47 pages into this one. I started listening to Six of Crows a while back at the end of last month and put this one to the side to save for this month. And then I started listening to The Nightingale by Kristen Hannah because it was due in like 16 hours through my library. I'm on chapter 3, but it's historical fiction, y'all, and it's huge. Look at this. And so I went ahead, returned the library book, the audiobook, and decided that whenever I get it back, I'm just going to try to fly through the audio and pertain as much as I can, even though a lot of people say that it's really good if you take your time with it. I just don't know if I can handle this big of a historical fiction in this amount of time with the no audiobook and like being able to retain all the information still. The next book I am starting tonight. Actually, I have already started it. I'm on page 17, and that is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. And I have this mapped out to 100 pages a day as well, so that I can finish it in a decent amount of time before the end of the month. Earlier, after I finished my pages for another book that you're about to see, I decided that I was going to start listening to this one, and I'm probably honestly going to try my hardest to finish this book tonight because I need to get it off of my TBR. It was one of my most anticipated reads of the year until I started seeing really bad reviews about it. And now, like, I was really skeptic. Haven't picked it up since release day whenever I got it for pre-order. That book is Descendant of the Crane by Joan Ho, and I am on chapter 12 right now. I'm 136 pages into this. I'm honestly a little bit enjoying it. I mean, it's not the greatest in the world. It is her first book. Hopefully her next will be better, or either this book picks up really fast, because y'all, this book, I agree with everybody else to a certain extent on it. Then the other book that I was just talking about that I was listening to and have finished my pages for the day, I am buddy reading this with Libby Gregory, and that is Enchanté. We are on page 209, and I'm actually really enjoying this. It's perfect time to read it since I'm about to go to Rome, even though this takes place, I believe, in Paris, I want to say. I just feel like, Paris. I just feel like it's getting me in the mood for that era, not the era, but like the area, the location, because I'm about to go there, basically. Like, I'll be really close to there. And then the very last book that I have to show you guys is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I am on page 50, I believe, in Crooked Kingdom. Yes, I am. I'm on page 50, and I have not listened to it yet today, but I want to get to 200 at least. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm super excited for all of these books, and I will talk to you guys later. Comment down below, let me know how your guys' reading month is going, and let me know if you stuck around to the very end. Bye!